We're Slick Rock Productions, and this is SuperATV's rear steer kit for Rangers. We're really excited about this. This has been in the works for a long time, and it's a really cool kit. And I want to give a really big shout out to the engineers at SuperATV. And we've built a lot of one-off stuff before. We've fabbed a lot of things together. When you're building really big cars, sometimes we just kind of make things work. But there's a really big difference in what we do and when you're building something for the consumer out there. And you know, this kit is really kind of complicated. Not the install in it, but the amount of effort that went into it to get it right. Obviously, Rangers weren't meant to have steering on the back. The problem with hydraulic steering, you have two problems. Number one is it's a massive power draw. And so the kits that we've seen out there, the kits that we've played with before, you kind of get to this point where you're running alternators, you're running bigger batteries. Once you start running a bigger battery, you start running an alternator, you start messing with the ECUs in this system. We all know they're really finicky when it comes to power surges. So this is a standalone system. It doesn't work off the ECU of the computer. It has its own. And the other problem you run into is these cars weren't meant to have hydraulic steering. Hydraulic steering is really powerful. So if you get your car bound up and you turn the wheel, if the wheel doesn't turn, it turns the car. And so it puts a lot of strain on the frames of these, on the A-arm tabs. Everything is a little more prone to buckle. SuperATV absolutely thought of everything with this. There's brackets up in the front, real thick steel brackets that triangulate. These have two frames in them, one for the structure, one for the frame. It triangulates everything together. All the A-arms, all the mounting places in it, everything is reinforced with a lot thicker steel. It's a completely bolt-on kit. There's no welding. And they did a really, really good job with this. I was really impressed. This has been in the works for a long time. We've talked about it a lot. We've kind of gone through a lot of emotions. But the finished product that these guys come out with was absolutely phenomenal. So some of the things that this kit comes with, it comes with new heavy-duty A-arms. Obviously, it's got ball joints in the back now where it didn't before. So it comes with their heavy-duty ball joints. Whether you're a portal car or whether you're not, it's got new spindles for that. Some of the cool features of this is it has its own wheel speed sensor. So if you're, driving down the road and you hit the button on accident, it won't steer the back for you. It's got safety features in it so you can't get hurt, or if you got your kids in there or something happens. So that's a really cool feature. This is a North Star Ranger. This kit is not for a North Star. The only difference between the North Star back here and a regular Ranger is the exhaust on it. On a regular Ranger, they come out the side, and so the plumbing in it comes straight up from SuperATV. We just put a couple of 45s on it, put it out this way, put a different muffler on it. If you're not running a self-centering kit, you can put 90s on them and just run them through, and you can run the factory muffler off of a North Star without the self-centering kit. This one's got a self-center kit. The really cool feature about that is when, if you're coming around a corner and you're turning, you can just hit the button and it goes back to zero every single time. So there is a gauge in here so you can tell where it is. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's really cool to be able to just hit the button, and just it's self-center, and it runs true every single time. So let's talk about some of the benefits of having four-wheel steering. Obviously, if you got a crew cab, these are pretty big machines, so they turn a lot sharper. They're a lot easier to maneuver. We're rock crawlers, and so for us, when you get up on ledges, you need to get around rocks. A lot of times you need to get your back end in a different spot, and instead of having to move the whole machine, you can just walk the back end where you need it, which is really handy. For hunters, guys that are out trail riding in thick woods, these things are really easy to maneuver now around tight trails, tight spots, when you got obstacles in your way. Being able to steer the back is just really cool. In our shop in here, we have a lot of cars in here. It gets pretty tight. And even if you're an idiot, you can parallel park this thing without bashing into everything else, which is really cool. But let's talk about the real reason you want it. For one, you can crab walk into an event or a parking lot and look really cool, and your buddy doesn't have it. So this is the self-centering ram. This is optional when you buy the kit. You can have it with or without this. So what this does is as the ram moves back and forth, this sensor reads where it is. So you can have it set at exactly center. So once you hang a left or hang a right, you can just hit the button and it'll self-center back on its own. This is really cool. We'll show you how it works. So the kit has got an on-off switch here. You just turn it on. Your indicator light's up here. This is your left, your right. You want to go back to zero? Just hit the zero button. Super handy, super easy to use. If you're driving around, you want to turn sharp, just use the back end. Want to go back to straight? You just hit the button. to go back to giving credit to the engineers of this kit, there's a lot of components to this kit. It was really easy to install. Everything is really clearly labeled, but it's really clean. This is the pump in the back. All the wiring, the solenoid is under this tray, bolts into a factory compartment. It is super clean. And once again, this is a standalone kit. The thing I really like about this kit that really makes me happy is there's no alternator, there's no bigger battery. You can sit and use this kit for 2 hours and it doesn't wear down the system. That's a really big deal when it comes to hydraulic steering. The front steering, the kits that we've seen out there, like I said before, this is kind of what you get into. They did the research. They have a pump that is very powerful, that moves the machine properly, that doesn't bog down, that doesn't get bound up, but it doesn't drain the system out. That was key one with doing a rear steer kit, is finding the right pump that works with the right system, that you don't have to alter everything else with it. They really did the research on this. I'm super excited for this kit. I plow a lot of snow with this machine. We have a lot of trailers. There's a lot of tight places to get into. It's gonna make it super fun in the wintertime. As you can see, this thing is really agile. It literally turns around in 25 feet. It's ridiculous. I mean, for a big machine, that's really cool. There's a lot of uses for this. I'm sure you guys can think of a lot of them, a lot of places where they'll aid you, but this is a really well thought out kit. They did a great job. Our hats are off to them. We'll catch you on the next video.